Hey guys, this is KSP with Tape, and today you join me for episode 24 of Solar Civilization, and we're picking up where we left off on the moon. I lost a bit of footage because I'm stupid, so I'm just kind of clicking through all the science I got. You can see that I've taken all the mystery goo, all the materials bays, the seismometer, surface samples, EVA reports, and all that, and I have planted a flag, so I'll show you that. I'm not. Oh no, I know why I lost the footage. It's because half of the footage was in something I accidentally deleted. So yeah, I'm just showing you everything I did. Yeah, that's already been taken. Yeah, that has already been taken. All the reports are taken, and the plaque says the maiden voyage of Morpheus 5 because well, Morpheus 5 is a brand new spacecraft. I'll probably be taking out to Minmus as well. I've got to gather tons of science, or I might kind of plan a mission that is like just refuels on the surface and just basically spams all the biomes and gets all the science because I've done a lot of missions. Yeah, so that's all of the reports. So that's all good. It's pretty much time to go now, isn't it? Because I've got lots of other things to do in this episode. I'm actually in a pretty good place just to leave from launch right now. Um, yeah, I want to be unlocking some more parts so I can start setting up a base on the moon and a base on Minmus and some kind of big spacecraft that can do multiple missions and I can reuse using nuclear engines and 2.5 meter docking ports, kind of fairly importantly. Anyway, yeah, so let's leave. Um, I'm just gonna do the standard thing. It'll speed up in a minute because it's kind of standard stuff. You've seen it lots of times. It's the same even with a new spacecraft. So yeah, we're into 4 times time accelerate and just fairly standard. It's the moon, so you want to tip over fairly early. Just kind of get lots of lateral velocity going. Yeah, I don't ever go up too high above the surface because it's more efficient to stay in a low orbit because you can be in a very low orbit around the moon, just as long as you're above the mountains, really. Good thing about airless worlds. Um, but yeah, this has so much delta V that it could just go into any kind of orbit. Um, it didn't have it doesn't have quite enough. I landed it really badly, so it didn't have quite enough fuel to skip to another biome. On Minmus, it'll be able to jump around maybe 2 or 3 biomes. It can probably do 2 biomes on the moon if I'm less stupid with the fuel. Or if I upgrade it slightly just to have a slightly bigger transfer stage, just little bits more delta V, I guess. But anyway, let's return home. It does have I think 11 days life support for each of the Kerbals. I don't think I'm going to update the tech life support mod because I don't really need to, and it doesn't. It's really annoying to update. Maybe they'll make a fix for it because they've changed how the units work, and it doesn't really transfer properly. So it'll be fine. Anyway, just come back to Kerbin, get all the science, hope that we don't die. Um, yeah, I need to be getting more stuff. Already have nuclear engines, so it's hard to get much more efficient than that, other than ion drives. But ion drives are kind of eh. I'm going to use them for some probes. They're actually pretty good for landers now because they've quadrupled uh, the thrust. So I might do some ion drive landers. We're landing on a slope, so I'm kind of worried, but it lands fine because it's got a big base and it's low center of gravity. So we'll just grab that and yeah, just take a few things. I unlocked some 2.5 meter docking ports, but let's get through all that because it's just fairly standard stuff. And I have things to do with Duna, so the first thing I need to do is detach this final probe so I can actually use that lander. This has done all its science and needs to now go into a polar orbit so it can scan for kethane. I'll do some aerobraking maneuvers and stuff to put it in a perfect orbit to scan for kethane because I want to be coming back to Duna and putting a base here. I am really pushing to put some bases in various places because, I haven't been doing enough of that, I feel. Anyway, I believe I'll speed this up into 4 times time accelerate at some point, but it's fairly standard stuff and it doesn't take too long to put it in a polar orbit. I'm going to get as high up as possible above Duna because then it takes less fuel to get into a polar orbit. That's kind of one of the reasons I left. I left the Duna Explorer in a very not inclined elliptical orbit. Also, so I can get to Ike very easily. It's just lots of delta V savings really. And if I stay in a fairly elliptical orbit, it'll be a smaller burn to get home. Not that I really need to, because it's very easy to get back from Duna. I think it's only about a 600 delta V burn, maybe a quick plane change, and it does have a separate return module. This is a very old spacecraft, as you probably know. I think I sent it in a very early episode, before I even had nuclear engines. So it will be coming back on just standard chemical rockets. I'm getting a lot of UI glitching recently, as you can see. It's just flickering, and it's not really a problem, but it is very annoying. It's just I don't know, it's just kind of annoying. Anyway, so I'll just ignite that engine and start putting myself in a polar orbit, and making sure I keep my periaps at a fairly acceptable altitude. I think I want it just kind of, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to put the final orbit at, just where I can most efficiently and quickly scan for kethane. I want to be able to time warp quite quickly, but at the same time, I want to be, if you time warp too quickly, then it doesn't scan every little bit of the surface, and you want it in a polar orbit so that the planet rotates beneath you, so you can scan the entire surface without having to change orbits. Although in fairness, I've already found some kethane on the equator, and you want to be really having a base on the equator because it's much easier to get to. It's kind of deorbiting right now, but I'll just move nearer the prograde marker to put myself in more of an orbit that won't decay and burn up, because that would be rather annoying. But yeah, that's in a pretty good place, and we'll just slowly scan for kethane. I'll do you have to be on the spacecraft to scan for kethane, so I'll do that at some other point. But now we must land on Duna for the second time, because I've landed the probe already last episode, but now we need to send a guy down there to take some surface samples, take an EVA report, and grab the science out of the probe, because then I'll get 100% of the science. And there is only one man for the job, and he is Jebediah Kerman. Of course, he has to land on Duna. It's Jeb, and we haven't seen much of Jeb recently because he's been just traveling through space. So, yeah, this has Jeb and Bob. I think Bill's heading out to Eve, so we've only got rookies back at the KSC, especially after all my other ones died. I think Luke Kerman's heading out to Eve as well, because, I don't know, Luke Kerman, cool guy. Filling died a while ago. And Gene Rod, I think he died as well. I'm losing Kerbals left, right, and centre. I think I've lost something like 5 in total. Mainly in plane crashes, or shuttle crashes. Just lots of crashes. Anyway, I'm going to use the Duna Explorer to deorbit because I have loads of fuel, and I want to have as much fuel on that lander as possible because it is really pushing the boundaries of having an amount of fuel. I think it does have around 2500 delta V, so, and it does parachute land, so I won't need too much to land. I will use a bit of the fuel to land, but it'll have more than enough to get back into orbit. I'm just worried about getting it back to the Duna Explorer. I might have to, I don't know, it could be a bit of a maneuver, but I'm not really sure. I think I'll be able to go to Ike. I'm not sure if I'll be able to land on Ike, but I'll just send her another mission. I have tons more science to mine from Duna. I'm not sure if it has separate biomes, because it does have ice caps I'd like to check out. I'm just going to transfer as much monopropellant out as possible, because there are no reaction control thrusters on the lander, because, just to save mass, really. I should have taken the monopropellant out of it, but I can use the monopropellant in the Duna Explorer, because it does have some RCS, as you will see in a second. Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to move away from the lander so we don't merge and time warp and then die. So this is actually currently computer controlled, because Bob and Franklin are in the storage container, because well, that's the living space. You want a big living space on your long missions. Not that it's really important in Kerbal Space Program, but I like to put it in there anyway, because for the sake of realism more than anything. And I like big spacecrafts, although actually this one, I was going to say it kills my frame rate, but this one's running absolutely fine. I have a pretty nice computer, so yeah, I don't have too much of a problem with it. But I think the Eve Explorer lags quite well. No, it's not the Eve Explorer anymore, is it? It's the ETV M1 Kepler is what it's called now. It's the Kepler spacecraft. Anyway, Bob Kerman is now taking command of the Duna Explorer. You can see that his food, water, and oxygen are depleted. That does give me 3 hours, because you can go 3 hours without oxygen if you're a Kerbal somehow. But yeah, that's the problem with what's it called? Tech life support right now. It's just not. When you don't have any stuff out, you don't have any life support outside of a spacecraft, which is kind of annoying right now. Although it does give me 3 hours, so everything's fine. But I've put this in a decaying orbit because I'm going to aerobrake, so I don't have to spend any fuel bringing my apoaps down. I'm going to go through multiple passes, so I have sped this up to 4 times time accelerate, because it's kind of, you don't want to see all of it. Yeah, so we'll just pass through the atmosphere. 20 kilometers is a pretty good, well, I put it at 19, because that's where the atmosphere really starts to bite into you, but it doesn't, like, decay too much. And I will have to bring it up a little bit later to stop myself, dying in the atmosphere. I'm going to get rid of these struts just so I have a little less mass, because I don't want to be I don't want to have too much mass. I want to have as much delta V as possible, because I am a little worried about delta V. Not that I should be, I have tons, but yeah, I'll re-extend that solar panel, because with out of the atmosphere now, I'll rearrange that staging as well. It's not in a brilliant position. But yeah, it's just time to go around for another pass, I guess, and just keep decaying my orbit. That actually did a pretty good job. It's taken my apoaps down considerably. But yeah, so we'll just keep passing through it until we've decayed enough. And there's Ike. Ike is a really big moon, which is weird because Mars has pretty small moons, Phobos and Deimos, I believe. They're really small, actually, and I've really got to do a video on the new rescaled Kerbal, because they include some really nice textures, which are just, they look so good. They're just really amazing. It's a really nice mod now, and I haven't done enough videos, and people seem to like them quite a lot. No, I'm not going to do another series on that for a while, because I'm already doing well, actually, technically 3 KSP series, but the Operation Black Hawk's very occasional, so it's not really the same thing. But anyway, I was just checking my alarm clocks there, because I was a little worried I had some stuff coming up. And in 4 days, I do have a plane change for Dres probe, and then I think a Joule probe after that or something. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see it. It zipped by too quickly. But yeah, at some point I want to be going out to Joule as well. I want to go to all the planets and just put bases everywhere. But it is quite a big task, and I am, trying to research things and get science, so I can't just time warp past them. And especially, I've kind of need to be doing some more stuff with the Prospector station as well. And there's a really old shuttle still attached to it. Yeah, I should do some more station servicing. Maybe I'll do a bit of that in the next episode. That's my only real base right now. Although the Duna Explorer has been in orbit for a very long time. I'm not sure how many days, but probably quite a few. Actually, probably not that long. Probably maybe 100 days or something. But anyway, just slow down again, and that brought my apoaps down quite nicely. Duna does look really nice now. I have said that a lot, but it really does. I think Duna and Eve are the ones they did really nicely. I'd like to see all the planets get a nice revamp, really. Yeah, I'm just going to bring my periaps up a little bit, because or it'll probably decay me and I'll fall way away from that probe, and I need to be as close to it, as in walking distance, really. Which is, I don't know, until I get bored of walking, really. Although I do have 3 hours, I only have, yeah, until I update the mod, I only have 3 hours life support for Jeb Kerman. So, yeah, so it has to be, within an hour and a half away so I can get there and walk back. And I think that's, I mean, he travels at, I think, a maximum of a meter per second, so, how long is an hour and a half? Well, an hour is 3,600 seconds, isn't it? Yeah, 60, have I got my factors out? It's, yeah, 60 seconds in a minute, 60, yeah, 60 minutes. Yeah, so it's 3,600 seconds, so I would have 3,600 plus 1,800, so that'll be, wow, it's late. 5,400, so yeah, if I'm, yeah, it can be 5 kilometers away, basically. So let's hope I land. I've forgotten how close I land to it. I'm kind of worried now. But I could just update the mod, of course. Or just turn it off very briefly and understand that he would have 12 hours life support. I don't know. The mod's kind of broken right now. It's really annoying. But I'm actually in a pretty good place to come down right near the probe right now, because I don't want to have to aerobrake over it too much, because it's really hard to do that precisely. So I'm going to spend a little bit more fuel than I ideally need to come down right near it. But this does have around 20. Actually, I think it's more like 2,800 meters a second delta V because of the staging. So that's good, I guess. But yeah, I think I'll deorbit about here, and I need to do a bit of a plane change because I'm rather far north of it. Well, I would come down rather far north of it. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm not spending too much fuel. I've 15 units. I think I'll have enough fuel. I'm going to set these parachutes to open at a kilometer above the surface because, because then it'll slow me down more and I can spend less fuel. I'm being incredibly fuel conservative. Well, as fuel conservative as I can be, and I can only be on the surf. Well, I can only be away from the not the Eve Explorer, the Duna Explorer for 21 days. And I've already been away for 3 days. I didn't realize how long this had taken, but it was, yeah, about 3 days of aero braking in this tiny capsule because, or I'll run out of life support and Jeb will die, and we really don't want that. It'd be horrible to lose Jeb because then who would be the badass who would do all the cool stuff? Yeah, the atmosphere of Duna is really thin, and I'm traveling at only about Mach 3, so we won't burn up. So I'm not worried about that. And that's another thing that's quite nice about getting off Duna is it's very easy to do it with a single stage because it's got like a third gravity of Kerbin and a very thin atmosphere. And a very low down atmosphere. So you just have to get up to about 40 kilometers and just, yeah, it'll be fine. So this very small spacecraft is an SSDO on Duna. I was thinking of making some Duna planes, but it's kind of hard. I do have Infernal Robotics installed now, so I could do a folding plane. Another idea stolen from the wonderful mind of Scott Manley. But anyway, I need to do a little bit more slowing down with fuel because I'm coming a little too far west of it, I'd say. No, east. Yeah, too far east of it. So, yeah, just kind of try to slow down because the parachutes won't open until about 9 kilometers. I should have set them to fully open at like really high altitudes because then it would slow me down quite a lot. But there might be some problems there. I mean, they're not drogue chutes, but there they go. Beginning to slow me down quite nicely. Yeah, so just I am burning quite a bit of fuel, but I'm not too worried about fuel. And I do need to get close to that probe. I have flown over it, and I'm traveling quite far from it now. I'm a little worried about that walk, and in this post-production, I can't really see how far away from it I am. So that's the thing. Crew reaching G limit. Didn't even notice that. I think it was just when the parachutes opened. Yeah, I think I'm around 5.5 kilometers from it, so it will be a bit of a stretch getting over there. Jeez, why can't I see that? It's because it's pink and it blends really nicely with the orange, so I can't see it. Damn it, camera, stay still. Oh no, I think I'm... What is that? Is that 3.2? I legitimately can't see that. Wow. Jeez. Render better, please. Anyway, slow down. I hit that ground really hard, but who cares? I save fuel. That's all I care about. No, but we're down on Duna. That's good. Our first man on Duna, Jebediah Kerman. Yeah, I think this is 3.9 or 5.3. I don't know. Oh, of course, I can just jetpack over there. Although, ooh, don't know if that'll be a good idea. I'll try to update the mod so I have 12 hours life support, and if not, I could just turn it off briefly and accept that with 12 hours life support, I would easily get over there and just get around it that way. Because I'm not too like, oh my god, I can't turn off the mod, that's cheating. It'll be fine. But yeah, we'll get our crew report. Only 40 science, but and we can't transmit that because this does not have a transmission device. But we'll transmit it when we get back to the Duna Explorer. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Should probably get out. Yeah, so I'll just keep that. That's nice. 40 science is good. That'll get me nothing. But it'll help get me some things. EVA report, another 40 science. I'll put that back in the pod, and that's nice. It's another transmittable experiment because that's nice. You get it back instantly. Yeah, so we'll just grab some EVA reports, some surface samples, I guess. EVA report. After much testing, you determine the red sand castles are plausible. 64 science. Nice. And a surface sample. This surface consists of a grainy, very fine sand-like dust, and it appears to be getting everywhere. 240 signs. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty big. First man on another planet. That's pretty crazy. I wish I could have taken more people to the surface, but it was back in a time when I had very little technology. So we'll plant our flag, and this shall be called First Contact, because Star Trek and stuff. And caps lock, nice. Yeah. Oh, nice. Just screwing up everything there. First Contact. Because this is the first contract version of the game. So ho ho ho, crazy. The first manned the first manned landing on another... Oh, Jesus. Jesus me, make up your mind. The first manned landing on Duna. And other planets, I guess is what I'm going to put. Yeah, there we go. I never really have anything to really write. Yeah, the first man landing on Duna and an extraterrestrial body. Captain Jebediah Kerman, of course. Wow, terrible at writing. Yeah, there you go, Captain Jebediah Kerman. I like to put the crew and the spacecraft. This doesn't have a name, so I have to think up one quite quickly. I've forgotten what I exactly called it, but it'll be something inspired and probably named after a bird or a Greek god. I'm thinking on my feet here. Yeah, you just name it after a bird or a Greek god, and there you go. That's what you name your mission. Like Apollo or Falcon or Kestrel. Ares. Yeah, it'll be called Ares because that's a cool name. So the next one that lands here will be Ares 2. Yeah, there we go. Should probably get back in that pod. The RCS pack does just about work on Duna, which is nice. But it has quite high gravity, so it only just works. And there we go. Let's get right back in our pod, and that's the end of the episode, really. I still can't see how far away that probe is, but I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope we'll come back for the next episode where I'll get more science and do more fun stuff. This has been KSP with Tape. I will see you next time.